So, welcome to my channel. I am back from my 2-week timeout placed on to me by YouTube, which brings me to today's topic of discussion, which is censorship and propaganda. But before we get into that, I wanted to bring this up that my brother and I are once again competing in the annual multiple sclerosis 100-mile bike charity ride in September 25th, 2021. It is called the MS City Ride to the Shore. You can donate to my page, Bruce the Boss Brooks. We're Team BS Fighting MS. And what it is we're cycling towards a world free of multiple sclerosis. I've signed up for the Bike MS and a fundraising ride that changes the world for people affected by multiple sclerosis. I'm going the distance with my training and commitment, and I hope I can count on you for your support as I prepare for this incredible experience. MS is a devastating and unpredictable disease, but money raised through Bike MS fuels cutting-edge research for multiple sclerosis as well as critical services to ensure those affected by MS have the resources that they need to live their lives the best they can. So I'll provide the link to my fundraising page in the description box below, so feel free to go ahead and donate as much as your heart's content, as well as I want to encourage you to share the link to any friends and family on your social media page. We definitely want to raise awareness and help raise as much funds for this critical research and or treatment for those with MS as possible. So feel free to share the link also with friends and family. Your donations will be greatly appreciated. And I am Bruce the Boss here on the MS page. I'll put the link in the description box below. So about 2 weeks ago on April the 8th, 2021, I posted a video on my thoughts and the reasoning behind my decision on whether or not I was going to get the jab for the Modella virus. And I even referenced and throughout the video used the CDC's own website to discuss which demographics are most at risk and whether or not if it justified me getting the jab. And within hours of the video being posted, it got caught up and flagged in the YouTube's algorithm. And next thing I know, I get my second strike, which put me on a 2-week suspension. So yay, I'm back. But this is what I got hit with. Hi, Bruce the Boss Brooks. Our team has reviewed your content, and unfortunately, we think it violates our medical misinformation policy, and we've removed the following content from YouTube, which was getting the Modella jab. And they go on to discuss what their policy on medical misinformation on the Modella virus is, which is a long list of things you're not allowed to talk about as it pertains to what's going on right now. And here's where they get into more specific, such as encouraging home remedies, prayers, and rituals in place of consulting your doctor, which I specifically did in the video. I encouraged everyone. This was my reasoning and how I came to my decision, but I encouraged everyone to consult with your doctor because your medical situation, your demographic, your medical history is completely different and everyone is unique. Please consult with you. I did that. Claims of any guaranteed cure from the Modella virus, talks or recommendation of these courses of treatments, which have been extensively researched. And I really want to talk about them, but I'm going to have to do that on another platform. But I will do a video on those because I think these need to be explored further because hiding information is not helping the dialogue or discourse or discussions people should be having with their doctors. But I digress. But then as also it pertains to prevention misinformation, again, things like guaranteed prevention you can't discuss, wearing of the mask, which I'm like, really? Okay. There's a lot of research both ways, including from the CDC's own website that they published, but Steven Crowder got flagged and got a strike for quoting the CDC's website as it pertains to this. And he still got the flag, which is weird. And then here's where I think they tried to hit me with, and that is when it comes to the Modella jab, information that contradicts expert consensus from local health authorities or the WHO, and particularly claims that an improved Modella jab will cause death, infertility, miscarriage, autism, contraction of other infectious diseases. I think that's specifically what they're trying to flag me with, which I did not do. but you can go check it out yourself. What I am finding that I had to do is I have to create a presence on multiple platforms because the purge is real. Censorship is here and alive and well, and what you're allowed to say and what you're not allowed to say on these corporate controlled media sites. So I do have a Rumble account. This is the first video I uploaded today of my content. I'll start to move a lot of my other content over on here as well, so that it'll be available somewhere else as well. And whenever I post here on YouTube, I'll post on the other sites just in case. And when it comes to discussing anything that I know is not allowed on one platform, I'll put on another. So here's my Rumble page. I will put the link in the description box below. Go ahead and not only check this video out, but go ahead and subscribe. Your subscription to this channel, as well as your interactions with this channel, whether it be specifically to this video or other videos, in the forms of liking the video, commenting on the video, and especially sharing the video, goes a long way and is very critical in this time and day and age when we are dealing with algorithms that are working in concert amongst multiple sites set up to attack or set up to flag anything that's contrary to a specific narrative, a specific talking point. Removing content containing information, thoughts, opinions, and yes, facts. We are talking about facts that are contrary to a specific narrative decided by those in government and or those in a boardroom is modern day book burning. It's propaganda because you're only allowing one voice and pushing a specific agenda that is propaganda, and it's also censorship. Now, most people only think of or try to limit the term censorship to government agencies infringing on an individual's right to speak or say something, which in the case of the United States, it is contrary to the First Amendment in the Constitution, which is illegal to do so. But censorship isn't just limited to government. When you control anywhere from 89 to 92% of all information, and you're in control of what is and isn't allowed, or what can or cannot be shared, you're essentially in control of all information and how people think. And that is when you're removing anything to the contrary, even if it's supported by facts, by studies, that is censorship. So let's take a look at the actual control that these media giants have. And if you need to take a double think as to whether or not this level of control actually influences your perception and your actions and decision making. So let's take a look here. So Facebook, the social media app, owns about 72% of the market share on social media. Worldwide, this is a huge level of dominance. Then you tack on Twitter and YouTube, another about 13.5% or 14%, and you're talking about 86%. Then you have Instagram, which by the way is owned by Facebook. So whatever policy Facebook has, it's going to go in line with Instagram. You're talking about just under 3%. So you're talking about a total of 88 to 89% of the total social media market shares, and their policies are controlled by just three social media conglomerates. YouTube, by the way, which is a subsidiary of Google or owned by Google, popular search engine, which globally controls 92% of the total market share. All information, anywhere from 88 to 92% of all information is being channeled and controlled and flowed through these social media outlets as well as search engines around the world. Now, how they work to prove that they do work in concert or work together. Now, I did a video on the Hunter Biden email scandal, which dropped through the New York Post back in October. And Facebook, if you dare try to share the article, they flagged and removed any mention and or sharing of the article on Facebook. Twitter, in concert with YouTube, then went ahead and also not only flagged any sharing of the New York Post account, broke up the link so anyone who already shared the link to the New York Post article to the Hunter Biden FBI email probe, they broke up the link. So if you tried to click on the link to pull up the article webpage, it would not open. And then they went one step further and Twitter suspended the New York Post for sharing that confirmed story. And then, of course, the mainstream media just ignored that story. But yes, Twitter was brazen enough to suspend a world-renowned, legitimate news source or news publication, aka the New York Post. And here's the effect that it wound up having. According to a poll done back on November 24th of 2020, 1 in 6 Biden voters would have changed their vote if they had known about the scandal suppressed by the media. According to this article, which I'll be more than glad to put the link down in the description box below. Just to be clear or more specific, this poll was conducted amongst 1,750 Biden voters living specifically in the 7 swing states of Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, who said that if they were aware of these certain issues surrounding Biden and his family, they would have made a different decision moving forward here. So it goes on to say 1 in 6 Biden voters polled, which comes out to be 17%, said that they would have changed their vote had they been aware of these stories. And just to break it down even more so, in Pennsylvania and Georgia, 15% of those who wound up voting for Biden would have refrained from casting a vote for him. In Michigan, it was 14%. In Arizona, it was 21%. In Wisconsin, it was 13%. In Nevada, it was 18%. By the way, nationally, Biden only won by less than 4%. Just take that in. The greatest form of control is when you think you're free when you're really being fundamentally manipulated, controlled, and dictated to. One form of dictatorship is when you're sitting in a prison cell and you can see and touch the bars. The other form is when you're sitting in a prison cell and you can't see the bars, so you think you're free. Most people don't realize that the reason why they reach certain conclusions on any topic, but more specifically the jab, is because they've only been allowed to hear the positive propaganda surrounding the jab. Any other form of information is, as we speak, being actively suppressed from them. And the weight of that confirmation bias is too heavy for many people to resist. When everywhere you look and everywhere you see, they're all confirming or saying the same thing, the weight of that is too much. And it's very, very easy to be persuaded by the perceived majority consensus, especially when you think it's a majority, because that's the only opinion you're seeing when you're not even allowed to see any contrary, any information to the contrary, even though there are thousands of individuals, experts in their fields, that will hold a contrary point of view. For instance, since the 2 weeks that I've been suspended, literally the day after, on April the 9th, I believe it was, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who, by the way, fully opened his state up 100%. Way back in September, they just removed all government or state level restrictions and let the people and businesses decide for themselves what they wanted to do. Well, back on April the 8th, he held a roundtable discussion with doctors discussing not only policies that are being enacted in other states in this country, but more specifically how it was going to impact his state and how they were going to move forward following the science and available data. And this roundtable discussion included medical doctors and scientists. And on April the 9th, YouTube yanked the roundtable video for medical misinformation. By the way, those doctors included world-renowned practicing medical doctors, as well as an epidemiologist from little-known schools like Oxford, Stanford, and Harvard. And yes, I'm being facetious when I say little schools. Those are the cream of the crop. The only other schools that are missing from that is in the same realm of dialogue of prestige and high-level caliber is Yale, MIT, and that's it. So these are world-renowned doctors and epidemiologist scientists in their respective fields of virology and medical practice discussing these policies, and the information that they were sharing was flagged because it didn't fall in line with the social media guidelines. You are allowing the media and social media to define what is facts for you. Because God forbid, if someone went against the narrative that is going on in media, you call them science deniers or not following the science, when in fact there is science to the contrary that the media is deciding for you. They're deciding what is fact. So the moment they tell you you cannot listen to the opinion of world-renowned epidemiologists and medical doctors from Harvard, Oxford, and Stanford, there's a problem. Back in July of 2020, and that's what really prompted me to start speaking out, was you had doctors all across the country come together to the Supreme Court to discuss their concerns of the information being presented at that time during the pandemic. This group of doctors, medical practicing physicians, epidemiologists, virologists, surgeons, decided to call themselves the frontline doctors of America to speak out against the information that was being presented, to present their own countering medical expertise and facts based upon practices that they had been implementing with their hundreds and hundreds of patients during the pandemic. That video was captured by Breitbart, and Breitbart only seemed to be the only news outlet there at the time to report on it. They recorded the live video outside the steps of the Supreme Court, and the video went viral on social media platforms of Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, and received millions of views, retweets, shares, and within 8 to 12 hours of this massive support and viewing of the video, all three social media platforms, which we've already established, controls about 88 to 89% of all social media information, was just removed. I even tried taking clips of the video on my phone and then re-uploading it to Facebook, got flagged and removed immediately. God forbid you do it on YouTube as well right now, because it's one of the not recommended forms of treatment, and you'll get flagged. That's right. Let's see, a group of doctors in Belgium came together also to write what they called an open letter, because I was having a conversation with someone on Twitter about a week ago, and I was talking about the propaganda on being pushed by CNN as it pertains to the Mandela virus. And someone responded like, yeah, there is a lot of propaganda and fear porn being pushed by mainstream media, but whenever they talk about the Mandela virus, can't question that because it's only one unified theory this individual said. And I said, really? Then how do you explain this open letter from the doctors of Belgium, which pretty much contradicts the official narrative being out there? These are a group of doctors in the country of Belgium that were very concerned with a lot of the information regarding everything being put out there, and it's contradicting. These are a group of doctors, hundreds of them came together and were concerned, so put out this open letter. And this individual did not know about it, because this is information that's being actively suppressed, because we are allowing the media to decide what is fact. When last I recall, getting second opinions from medical experts were vital to your medical experience and or your health. It was encouraged for you to not just rely on one opinion, but get a second opinion, even if that second opinion contradicted the first opinion. You want to see whether or not they contradict or fall in line. And if they contradict, you also then encourage to get a third opinion to then be able to make up your mind. But you're having people in the media control what information you're even allowed to know and what conversations you're therefore allowed to have. Because if you don't know about a lot of this information, you can't have these conversations with your medical doctor. And it makes it even harder for you to come to your own well-informed decision. You know, ignorance is a choice, but you have forces at work in the media that are making it so that it's no longer a choice. Because if they hide a lot of information, you'll never know it existed. And if you don't know it existed, you can't have these conversations. You can't properly or adequately do the research. Now, if you want to get the jab, more power to you. especially if you're part of that demographic that is most likely impacted by the Modelo virus and or have the highest of likelihood of being hospitalized or even worse, death, because the risks are serious to a certain demographic or portion of the population. If you don't want to get the jab, again, more power to you. This should be a personal decision that individuals should be free to be able to make. It's also should be a decision based upon all of the available information that is heavily being suppressed. And there's clearly propaganda involved at every level of our most influential institutions trying to manipulate the perceptions and the information surrounding getting the jab for the Modelo virus. So I say inform yourself, keep doing your research. I'll put a lot of these links in the description box below, but it's very important that we have these conversations out there, get them out there, having discussions, because silencing any information, silencing anyone is never good for the overall conversation and or for humanity as a whole. So that's my video. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up and the like button, as well as comment on this video, share this video, and don't forget to, if you haven't done so already, subscribe to this channel. This is Bruce the Boss Brooks, and I'm back. Peace.